Good day all. So we're continuing to Surah 35, Surah Fatir, right? And this is the creator, right? The originator of creation, right? The originator of creation, right? So on earth we have earthly parents who create us, right? They are earthly creators, right? So we are talking about creation of the universe now, right? Bringing the universe from nothingness, from the void, right? From space, right? Into from space into matter and so on. It created, right? It created, meaning God itself, right? Transforming energy into actual matter, right? Spirit, as some would call it, spirit energy, right? Transforming into matter, right? So moving from more subtle into a more concrete form of existence, which is earth and existence on earth and the planets and so on, right? So all praises be to Allah, creator of the heavens and earth, right? He increases in creation what he wills, right? So if he wants to create or sustain the earth, he can do that, right? If he wants to create and sustain earth or life existence in the universe, he can do that if he wills, right? Whatever Allah grants the people of mercy, none can withhold it, right? So you have mercy unto others. You choose to implement mercy unto others. Somebody does wrong unto you, you choose to have mercy upon that person, right? The book is saying whatever Allah grants the people of mercy, none can withhold it, right? And whatever he withholds, none can release it thereafter, right? So remember the favor. If you have been granted some kind of favor in your life, remember the favor of Allah upon you, right? There's no deity except, there's no God, I should say, except Allah. So how are you deluded, right? To Allah return all matters, requiring resolution, right? And all matters generally. The promise of Allah is truth, so let not worldly life delude you, and be not deceived by what is referred to as Satan, Shaitan, or the deceiver, right? Whatever is here to deceive you, right? Let you not be deceived or be carried away, right, by what the worldly life has to offer, right? And like I was saying, nothing is wrong in moderate participation in certain things, but is to not get carried away or deceived, right? Not to get deceived, deception, right? Not to get deception, not to be deceived by the worldly life, right? Indeed, Allah is most knowing of what you and I do, right, and think, right? It is Allah who sends the winds and stirs the clouds, right? Whoever desires honor, true power, right, to Allah, whoever desires honor, true power, right? So you're utilizing power, right, for the sake of bringing honor to yourself, right? Know that Allah will take that honor for himself, right? Allah, God of the origin. If you and I inherently desire honor for some reason, right, or power, right, Allah is the original. He will hold that power, meaning that to release your desires and surrender, release your desires, right, to be something, right, to become something, to be something, right, and simply just be, right? So this is for whom it may concern. I release your desires to be something in this life when you simply could just be, exist and be, right? The book says no aged person is granted additional life, nor is his lifespan lessened, right? Meaning that you can, the book refers to it as aged person. Prior in the book, the book talked about your potential death being delayed, right? Delayed for whatever reason. So Allah could choose to delay if a person is young. Allah could choose to delay that person's lifespan, if he will, depending on, remember, within the knowledge of Allah is all possibilities, right? So within the potential that he sees in you, say, hey, this person would have done X, Y, Z in the past, right? But I know this person, right? I know your heart, I know you, I know your potential, right? I know your potential to potentially impact the world in a particular way, and Allah chooses to pull you apart and say, hey, well, I will give you an opportunity for a second life. I will delay this lifespan. I will give you an opportunity to amend things, to correct things, to do things the right way, right? So Allah could do that if He wills, but the book also refers to no aged person being granted additional life, nor is his lifetime lessened, meaning that when is actually your time to leave this earth, you will leave it, right? That's just what it means, right? He causes night to enter day, and day to enter night, and subjected the sun and moon, each running its course for a specified term, right? If He wills, He can do away with you and bring forth a new creation, right? And this doesn't mean that do away with you in terms of you dying and somebody else taking your place. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It means kill. It can mean destruction and rebirth of something within you, right? It doesn't have to be, hey, you do away with one person, meaning destroy one person as an annihilate them, send them off the planet, right? And then bring forth something new. It simply could mean the annihilation or destruction of something within you and a rebirth within you, your current existence, right? And for Allah, that is not difficult, right? No bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another, right? The book says this, right? So this is referred to as the natural law of the universe, karma, right? As some would refer to it as, right? However, I had tied in this with the concept of mercy, and I hope people could grasp this, right? If you choose to help another person bear their burdens, right? Day of judgment, not day of judgment, whatever it is, right? If you, as a person, decide to have mercy upon somebody else, right? As simple as somebody waiting on a car, give them a lift, whatever it is, right? Because this could be a gain, right? And I'm saying how the book could be used, certain verses, if interpreted the wrong way, could be used as an excuse to oppress others, right? So if somebody read this and take it literally, right? No bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another, right? You're driving, you see a pass a vagrant on the street, somebody asks for $2, you ignore them. You're driving down on the street, you see a man stranded waiting for a car, you ignore them, right? If you look to take this thing seriously, so you choosing to implement some kind of empathy or mercy upon others, right, is also part of the natural law process, right? You choosing to implement mercy. So this is again tying in back with the conversations we had earlier. I would have talked about it at length, right? So you choosing to implement goodness from you unto others is also part of the natural law process and the karmic process, right, which is beneficial for you and others, right? The book says, not equal are the blind and the seeing, darkness and light, shade and heat, right? Not equal are these things, right? So I was thinking about this yin-yang scenarios in Chinese culture and so on, right? Where they have an equality of darkness, light. Within the darkness, I'll drop a light. Within the light, I'll drop a darkness, right? And it's like conversations I've spoke to people before, and they say that, you know, both are necessary, right? Both, a balance of both good and evil is necessary to maintain the earth. But I don't necessarily agree with that, in the sense that we can choose to actually incline towards good, right? We can choose to shift or incline towards good, such that it doesn't always have to maintain a equality in that balance of good and evil for the world to sustain itself. Because I don't see how that thinking is actually a flawed thinking, right? That the world needs a balance of good and evil to carry on, right? And that's why the book says that Allah can choose to increase in creation rather than destroying a nation, destroying the world or whatnot. Allah can choose to actually increase or expand in creation, right? As opposed to destroying or maintaining the current state of how things are, right? Right. So the book talks about who inherits the book, who inherits the Quran, right? Meaning that Allah can choose a person to inherit the Quran based upon, if it is that, like I was saying before, right? Allah sees a person, they may have made some mistakes in the past, done some things wrong, right? And say, hey, I'm going to choose this person to find a way to give this Quran to, right? And help that person to change their life, right? Help that person to change their life, right? So, among those who the book or knowledge or wisdom is revealed to is actually those who have wronged themselves in the past, right? Who have wronged themselves in the past, right? But who God knows is moderate, who Allah knows is moderate, and among them is inherently foremost in good deeds by permission of Allah, right? So Allah could actually choose, as the saying goes, choosing the unqualified, right? Choosing the unqualified meaning anybody in the world, right? All of us have done wrong in the past, right? God chooses the unqualified, as the saying goes, right? To change their life and to share a message, right? Right. So again, 10 minutes. This is the end of this message for today. We will continue the conversation tomorrow and progress onwards until 114.